Throughout the 1990s and into the early 2000s, the Bolliger Mabillard Invert was all the rage. Between 1992 and 1999, 20 Bolliger Mabillard Inverts opened, and several more opened during the 2000s. Seeking to capitalize on the success of the original Batman at Six Flags Great America, Six Flags added several more Batman clones to its parks. Looking to get in on the trends, Cedar Point wanted to add its own invert, though this invert would not be like the Batman clone. Cedar Point wanted to add an invert with an entirely original layout, one that would claim the records for the tallest, longest, and fastest Bolliger Mabillard Invert. In 1994, Cedar Point debuted Raptor, which opened as the world's tallest, longest, and fastest inverted roller coaster. Raptor also opened with the most inversions on an invert with 6. 2 of those inversions were firsts for the invert ride type. Raptor is great, packed with several moments of strong positive G-forces. It is definitely a standout invert. This is our full-length, in-depth review of Raptor and our comments about what you can expect when you go to Cedar Point to ride this coaster. Now, let's get into the review. When it debuted in 1994, Raptor was the tallest, longest, fastest, most inverted Bolliger Mabillard Invert in the world. Instead of having a more compact layout like the Batman clones that opened previously, Raptor has a more sprawling layout. The ride's layout stretches across a portion of the midways located towards the front part of Cedar Point. It is located on the left side of the front portion of Cedar Point, right next to and in front of the park's ace landmark PTC wooden roller coaster, Blue Streak. Raptor's bright green track and dark green supports tower over the midways. From the moment you get into Cedar Point, Raptor makes an impression. To get to Raptor from the park's front gate, you simply walk on the left side of the park's main entrance pathway, past the carousel and some shops, and directly towards the entrance to the ride's queue. As you approach the entrance to Raptor's queue, you will see a ride sign displaying the ride's name and logo. Once in the queue, you continue towards the left directly underneath Raptor's lift hill and into its massive cattle pin queue. This queue has no theming and very little shade. In fact, as you get closer to the ride's station building, you will stand in a large cattle pen with absolutely no shade. This lack of shade makes waiting an extended period of time for Raptor particularly excruciating on hot summer days. You make your way through the queue and go up some stairs onto the ride platform. As you reach the ride platform, you will see one of Raptor's 3 8-row 32-passenger trains. These are Bolliger and Mabillard's older invert trains, which have the classic over-the-shoulder restraints that you can find on pretty much every other Bolliger and Mabillard invert except for Banshee at Kings Island. Once you have boarded your train, secured your over-the-shoulder restraints, and cleared dispatch, you proceed forward immediately into a left-hand downward turn before rising back up onto the lift hill to begin your ride. As you reach the top of the lift hill, you take a near 90-degree left-hand bank turn and plummet down Raptor's 119-foot-tall first drop sloped at 45 degrees. While this first drop does not give airtime, you get some nice whip while sitting towards the back of the train. At the bottom of the first drop, you then fly up into a vertical loop, which pulls some good positive G-forces as you come out of the element. You come out of that vertical loop and immediately go into a whippy zero-G roll. This element is particularly good for those sitting in the back row on the right side. As you come out of that zero-G roll, you fly immediately into the first half of Raptor's Cobra roll. The climb into the first half of the Cobra roll is forceful. As you reach the top of the element, you snap downwards before pulling back upwards and diving down into the second half of the Cobra roll. Raptor's Cobra roll feels similar to the Cobra roll on Alpengeist at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, though just not as intense. As you come out of the Cobra roll, you take a right-hand bank turn before entering a forceful left-hand banked helix up onto the mid-course brake run, which hits somewhat. You then take a diving right-hand bank turn off the mid-course brake run and fly immediately into a whippy corkscrew. As you come out of that corkscrew, you take a slight right-hand bank turn and glide over a short section of straight track before taking a right-hand bank turn, followed by a slight dip. This slight dip gives a weak floater airtime pop for those sitting in the very back row. You then whip into another corkscrew, followed by a slight climb upwards into the beginning of an intense downwards right-hand banked helix. And this helix is quite forceful. As you come out of that helix, you take a forceful climbing left-hand bank turn up into the final brake run to complete your ride. For the first non-Batman clone Bolliger Mabillard Invert, Raptor is a great one. It has some great moments of positive G-forces, whippy inversions, and one moment of weak floater airtime. It is easily one of Cedar Point's better roller coasters. It is intense and re-rideable and has a decently long ride duration. Its first half is great. You really feel the whip and positive G forces throughout those elements. 1990s Bolliger and Mabillard 0G rolls are awesome, and Raptor's 0G roll is no exception. Raptor's Cobra roll is also very good. It is forceful and whippy, though just not as forceful and whippy as Alpengeist's Cobra roll, which might just be one of the craziest inversions out there. While its corkscrews are also quite good, Raptor's second half is not as good as the first half. It does not have the same relentlessness. The section of the layout between the corkscrews feels a little more like filler than anything else. While you do build back up some speed after the mid-course brake run, that section between the two corkscrews does not do anything other than get the train to that finale. Luckily, Raptor's corkscrew downwards helix finale makes up for that one average section. It brings back that power and force you get during the first half of the ride. And when the train is hauling, that downwards helix finale can definitely lead to a gray out moment. It is that good. All things considered, Raptor's layout is a step up from the layouts on the Batman clones. The inclusion of the Cobra roll really helps add some variety. That said, Raptor's second half holds it back just a little. One thing that inverts like Montu, Afterburn, and even Banshee do well is pack in as much forces into their ride experiences as possible. Every element has a purpose and delivers some type of force. Raptor's first half does exactly that, though its second half falters ever so slightly. The best way to experience Raptor is in the back row on the right side of the train. You experience the whip going down the first drop, going through the corkscrews and 0G roll, and going into and coming out of the Cobra roll, and you get some slight airtime coming off the mid-course brake run, and on that one section right before the last corkscrew. Aside from its ride experience, Raptor's queue leaves a lot to be desired. There is no theming at all on this ride. This lack of theming definitely causes the wait for this still relatively popular ride seemingly take much longer than it actually does. And the fact that there is one section of the queue that is entirely in direct sunlight only exacerbates the wait time on busier days. However, Raptor's 3-train operations help keep the wait time manageable, so you do not have to wait too long in the queue on incredibly hot days. One final note about Raptor is that there are no loose article bins on the ride platform. Like with nearly all the roller coasters at Cedar Point, you have to either leave your loose articles with a non-rider or purchase a locker. While this policy helps streamline operations, it is still annoying. Nonetheless, Raptor is a great Bolliger and Mabillard Invert with some intense moments. While Cedar Point's top 5 is phenomenal, you can make a case that Raptor is just outside of that top 5. It is forceful, whippy, and intense, and it would certainly be a headliner or at least top 3 at pretty much any other park with some notable exceptions. This coaster is great and holds its own against many of the Bolliger and Mabillard Inverts that came after it. For our final score, we give Raptor at Cedar Point an 8.5 out of 10. It is definitely one of the better inverts out there and one of Cedar Point's standout attractions. So, let us know in the comments below if you have ridden Raptor at Cedar Point, and if so, what you think about it. Is it a top tier invert? And if you enjoyed this video or are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more coaster content like this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more coaster reviews and amusement park content coming soon to Coaster Adventures, and we hope to see you in the next one.